Hey English 11A students, Tree Hall here, and the purpose of this video is try to help you with the Unit 6 writing project. Writing an argumentative essay is actually pretty easy because basically what you're doing is you're trying to sway somebody to your point of view. So let me get through this as quickly as possible, and I promise you that if you watch this video, you will come out with a solid plan of attack on your essay. So let's move through. Okay, let's start with the topic. So the topic for this writing project in Units 5 and 6, you will research, plan, and organize, develop, write, and publish an argumentative essay on a topic of your choice. Your argumentative essay must contain an introduction, a thesis statement, a minimum of 5 to 7 credible sources, at least one graphic aid, a conclusion, and a works cited page. So what I'm going to focus on in this video is mainly showing you how to set up the essay part of this. There's also a rubric within the system that shows you how to do your works cited and how to do what's called parenthetical citation, which is something that you need to have inside of a research paper. So let's just talk about the structure of this. Topic detail. An argumentative essay must have an argument. That doesn't mean you need to have an angry tone. What it does mean is that you have to have a clear opinion. So when you're going for topics, you want to pick something that you have an opinion about, and your goal in writing this paper is to convince the reader to your way of thinking. So make sure when you write this paper out, when you choose a topic, that this is something that you feel strongly about. You don't want to have kind of a, oh, well, maybe kind of thing. No, you definitely want to have a clear opinion on this. So the first step when you go to write this is you need to decide your opinion. Example, let's say you're going to write an essay on the role technology plays in the lives of modern teens. The first thing you need to do is decide what you think about this. You do this by turning the topic into a question. So the question for that particular topic, if you were going to write an essay about the role technology plays, is what role does technology play in the life of modern teens? Now, the important thing here, before you move any further, is decide whether you believe technology plays a positive or negative role. So in this, the first thing you want to do before you even start looking at your sources is you want to make up your mind whether this is a good or bad thing. Now I'm using technology here because I need to use something to show you how to put together this essay, but it could be anything. If you're writing an essay on gun control, you want to talk about whether you think gun control is good or bad. If you're writing an essay on anything, you need to make sure that you decide your opinion on this. So if you were going to write an essay on the role technology plays, you need to make a decision whether you believe technology plays a positive or negative role, because you can literally find information that supports both sides of this argument, and you need your paper to convince somebody, and the first step towards convincing somebody is to be sure yourself. So you need to start with deciding your opinion. If you believe that technology plays a positive role in the lives of modern teens, you will organize your essay around the positive effects of technology. If you believe that technology plays a negative role, then you're going to organize your essay around the negative effects of technology. What is really kind of interesting is both of these can be kind of some of the same information, but you're going to be talking about them very differently. But either way, do you see why it's important to pick a side here? So when you look at your topic, the first thing you need to decide is, what do I believe about this topic? And you need to be very clear about this. You need to be able to write out your thesis statement right in the beginning, which side you're on. Once you've decided what your opinion about your topic is, then the next thing that you want to do is organize your topic. If you can map out your essay or be able to provide a topic for each body paragraph, you're about 80% home. Now, within any essay, an essay is a stylized piece of writing, which means that you have to follow the rules. If you write a poem and you want to call it a haiku, you need to have 5 syllables in the first line. It needs to be 3 lines. You need to have 5 syllables in the first line, 7 in the second, and 5 in the third. In the same way, when you write an essay, it has to follow a certain format. All essays have 3 parts. They have an intro, where you tell the reader what you're going to tell them. You have a body, that's where you tell them. And then you have a conclusion, where you tell the reader what you told them. Now, naturally, the body is the biggest part of an essay, and whether your essay is 5 paragraphs or 5 pages, your body is going to be somewhere between 60 and 75% of your overall essay. Generally, your intro and conclusion are going to be about the same. If you are going for, say, like a 5-paragraph, which is a little short for a research paper, but you know what? I'd take it. If you're going for a 5-paragraph essay, then your first paragraph needs to be your intro, and your conclusion is going to be about the same size as that. So that's your last paragraph, and that gives you 3 paragraphs for your body. Remember, whatever size your paper ends up being, you need to make sure that the body is at least 60% of the overall paper. And again, for this particular one, you decide what your opinion is. In this topic, I'm going to decide that the technology plays a positive role in the lives of modern teens. And then you organize your essay around the 3 or 4 positive effects of technology if you chose that. So you decide your opinion. If you decide that you don't like gun control, then you would organize your essay on why gun control, 3 or 4 reasons why gun control is bad or why you feel gun control isn't going to work. If you feel that, I don't know, kids who are 16 deserve to vote, then you would organize your essay about around 3 or 4 reasons why that is. So the organization, that body, is really the organizing your essay around your main points is what you're doing here. Now let's talk about an essay map. When an essay map is when you actually sit down and make a note, and it could be mentally, but it's not a bad idea to use a piece of paper, and you actually map out your essay. You're going to say this paragraph is going to be about this, and this paragraph is going to be about this, and this paragraph is going to be about this. If you chose to write on this, or if I was writing an essay on the topic that I chose here, what I would do is I would have an intro paragraph where I introduce the topic, and then I would have my first body paragraph would be the first positive effect of technology. My second body paragraph would be positive effect number 2. My third body paragraph would be positive effect number 3, and then I would wrap it up with a conclusion. Why 3 effects here? Because that's the format I'm using in a 5-paragraph essay. If you do the math, if you're using a 5-paragraph essay, 5 minus 2, 1 paragraph for the intro and a conclusion, leaves us 3. If you were doing a 6-paragraph essay, then you would have 4 effects, positive effects of technology. Or if you chose to write negative, you'd have 4 negative effects. But basically, the body is going to be your main points, and it's going to be something that you can at least, you want each point to be something you can at least write a paragraph about. And that's how you organize this. You're going to decide the 3 different ways or 4 different ways, 3 or 4 different things to support your main point. Let's go down to intro and conclusion. Okay, when you go to write this out, your intro paragraph has to do 2 things. One, it has to introduce the topic, who, what, when, and where. That kind of thing. The second thing that it does at the bottom of the intro is you have to provide your thesis statement. So example, if you chose to write on gun control, you would, you're at the bottom of the paragraph, you're going to state whether you're for or against gun control. In the top part of your paragraph, you need to give the readers a little bit of history or a little bit of background in gun control. What is gun control? Who wants to do it? If I was doing an essay on the positive effects of, if I believe that technology influences modern teenagers in a positive way, the bottom of my intro paragraph is going to state that I believe it influences teenagers in a positive way because, and then what goes in on the top of that, what my intro paragraph actually begins with, is an introduction to technology. Maybe I mention people with their cell phones, and I mention, you ever seen a teenager with earbuds in their ears and blah, 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 video game systems. It's going to be 2 to 4 sentences. It's whatever my reader's going to need to know in order to understand the thesis. Then, of course, my body is going to go after that, but in the conclusion, I must remind readers of the topic discussed and my thesis, and I also must restate that thesis. So that's what goes in the conclusion. Generally, intro paragraphs and conclusions look very similar, and there's a good reason for that. In your intro paragraph, you're telling your reader what you're going to tell them. In the conclusion, you're telling your reader what you told them. So they look very similar to each other. Now let's move into body paragraphs. A good body paragraph is 6 to 8 sentences long. Now, what each body paragraph has to do is it has to describe its topic, and then it needs to explain its topic. So, for example, if I choose to write about the role technology plays in the lives of modern teens, then the first step is deciding what my opinion is. Let's say I say it's positive. The next thing I need to do is I need to come up with 3 or 4 effects or positive ways, 3 or 4 ways that technology is a good thing in the life of teenagers. So I'll just pick one. Let's say entertainment. Technology entertains teenagers, and this is a good thing because if people are entertained, they're not getting into trouble and things like that. So if I chose to write about the positive effect of technology and my first body paragraph was about entertaining, then within this 6 to 8 sentences, I'm going to have to do 2 things in that body paragraph. One, I'm going to have to describe the specific topic in detail. So what I would have to do is list some of the ways that technology entertains teens. Maybe I'm going to describe video games. I'm going to talk about cell phones, or, mention the various entertainment types of technology that teenagers like to use. And I'm going to do that in 3 or 4 sentences. So I probably want to use more than one item. And then the next part is very, very important. Then next, what I do after that, if you take 3 or 4 sentences from 6 or 8 sentences, you still have 3 or 4 sentences left, right? In the second part of that body paragraph, right underneath all that factual information where I mention, PlayStation 4, and I mention, MP3 players and people's cell phones playing music, next, that what I have to do is I need to explain how this is positive. Now, the first part of this can come from Wikipedia. You can find all the different entertainment systems out there, and the first part of this body paragraph is very factual. The second part has to come only from your brain. You're looking at that and you're saying, why is this a good thing? Why is it a good thing that a teenager plays PS4? Why, or if you chose to write negative, why is that a bad thing? Maybe a teenager's playing PS4 so much that they're not doing their schoolwork, or video games are getting in the way. It just depends on what you want to do. Now, in this explanation, there's not any right or wrong. What there is there's logical or non-logical. So if I was saying that video games were a good thing, and then I mention in my explanation that video games cause kids not to do homework, that doesn't jibe up because not doing homework is a bad thing. So you need to make sure that your explanation ties that information in the body paragraph back to the thesis statement, and it needs to be a logical progression here. You need to be logical. If you're saying something is good, it needs to make sense that it's good. You cannot say something is good and then proceed to explain how it's bad. That doesn't work out. And basically, if you have 3 body paragraphs, you're going to do this 3 times. If you have 4, you're going to do it 4 times. But either way, the vast majority of your essay are going to be these body paragraphs. And what they have to do is they need to present information that's related to your topic, and then they need to explain how that information comes back to your topic. Counting is important in this because remember, 6 to 8 sentences, if it has to do 2 things, each of these things is going to be 3 or 4 sentences long. So again, kind of going back to a little bit of review, remember, pick a topic, decide your opinion, then organize this by coming up with 3 or 4 items that support your opinion, and then once you drill down, look at this to see what you need to do in your intro, conclusion, and your body paragraph in detail. Hopefully this will help you write your essay. Don't forget there are a couple extra requirements on this. You have to have 5 to 7 sources. You need, because this is a research type paper, even though it's an argumentative essay, you need to make sure that you have a works cited page that is formatted in MLA format, and you need to make sure that within your body paragraphs, within your essay itself, that when you quote a source or when you're paraphrasing one of your sources of information, use parenthetical citation. In other words, you actually cite that source right within the body of the essay. And again, please look at that template because the template does it. It's actually really easy to do. You just put the author's name and the page number, or if it was a less than a book, then you would put like the year that was published or the month that it was published or something. You'll see that in the paper. So anyway, I hope that this has helped you. If you need extra help, I am happy to help you with that. So just give me a call and I'll walk you through it. Good luck. And if you need anything else, let me know.